Okay, so this one's for my ladies. Had some aha moments this morning, which means ta-da, videos. Because these aha moments, they trigger me, which means, and a lesson I've had or learned or needed to learn and remember, which means I know you guys are going through the same shit. So we might as well go through it together, right? And if I can share any of my crazy stories that make you feel better about it, amen. It's that man thing, that whole Christian Grey, dominant, yummy man who knows what he wants and is powerful and is able to tell you and, you know, make decisions without you having to lead, guide them, and make them for them. Because I know you guys all know what I'm talking about. That man that couldn't even plan a date without knowing exactly down to every detail that you would want to make sure that you were happy. A king, a dominant man who knows himself, who is confident in himself, knows what he wants, knows his goals, doesn't have anger towards past exes. He doesn't blame the world, and he's a victim. He's not non-emotional. So all of those people are not what I'm talking about, which is my aha moment too. They are not what I'm talking about. The one that can plan a date and surprise you without asking you maybe one freaking thing, and he'll just tell you what to wear to show up. The man that is able to lead you by example to be a better you. Doesn't make you question yourself, question your worth. He doesn't make you shrink. He doesn't question your intentions on jealousy and all of those kind of things. That is a strong, independent man. A codependent man, which we know, again, very well. The ones where we see their potential. We see how amazing they could be. We see all the things if we just give them enough time and patience and help and like talk to them and communicate and all of that. You know what I'm talking about? How we like see their potential. Because if you're an empath, I had to learn that I only ever see the potential in somebody. But there's a big difference because we live in these like, you know, meat suits. Potential is the energy that they portray on like higher level. That is their potential. We see what they could be. The difference is you have to look at the now. Are they angry? Are they victims? Do they have goals? Do they know where they're going? Do they have a map because they have goals and know where they're going? Which means no matter what you do, you will not deter them from their goals, dreams, and life they have planned for themselves. It is two independent people coming together that push each other to be the best version of themselves and both reach their goals. If you are entertaining, giving time to, having patience for a man that can't speak his emotions, that runs because of fear, has anger and hatred towards an ex. Sorry, you're gonna get spliced because my daughter was just calling me. So, we were talking about jealousy issues, all those things. If that's the man that you're entertaining in your life and we have hope for their potential, that is a man that is just a friend, that is just allowed to be a friend. Because guess what happens? And I know you know this. We start helping, coaching, teaching, sharing our lessons, what work we've done, all of those things. Because we have all of this empathy and compassion for them trying to do their journey, right? Do you want to be a man's teacher and therapist? Or do you want a man that can lead by example because he's done his work and can help you grow? If that's the kind of man you're wanting, then that means the ones that aren't and haven't and all of it, they literally are allowed to be friends. Because otherwise, we fall for their potential. We hope for their potential. But do you think that that might be taking up space for someone who actually has that potential to show up? Do you think they might be getting closer and closer to our hearts and still not the person that we need in our world, but they're blocking ones that could be? If they're just a friend, isn't it more like the carrot you're dangling in front of them? If they really, really want you in their life, that they got to show up for themselves first to come get you? Wouldn't you rather them be in love with who you are, that they are fighting so much for who they want to be to then come back and win you over because they can prove it and they are that person? Instead of us just living in that lovely, in love with their potential world where we're the one with hope, they're the one with no deadline, and we're literally their therapist and teacher, watching them fall and crash and burn, but they are taking our heart along with the journey. I think that any woman who's done any kind of work, we hit this point of fear, I guess, where like maybe they just don't exist or something like that. So when you find one that has like potential and connection, chemistry, all of that crap, even if we have worked on our codependency issues, even if we have worked on all sorts of crap, we find ourselves like connecting, seeing the red flags, seeing and believing who they are when they show you the first time. That's what my grandma taught me, which now is like a red flashy sign in my head, that we forget that. We ignore those because we honor our feelings and this and that and all of that, which we need to do, and not just be stuck in fear if that unicorn does show up. But if they don't have dreams and goals, if they have not dug back to see their fingerprints on that ex that they are still angry and hating and blaming for, if they still got baby mama drama, if they are still mama's boy, if they still cannot have their own foundation stable, are you bringing in a man that is less quality than you deserve? Not less quality because of like who they are. They can be an amazing man. The difference is if they haven't done their work to know their worth, to know their patterns, to know their triggers, to know their fears, to fight through their fears for their goals and dreams. If they don't know that, they're never going to be able to fight through them for you. They're never going to be able to show up for you if they can't show up for themselves. And we have that hope because we have that fear attached to any kind of abandonment we've ever felt, probably in our childhood. Any kind of time a man hasn't shown up and ran, and all of those things. So we shrink to become their therapist instead of their friend. Know that you're worth so much more, that if they are meant to be in your world and you're a friend and supporting in that way, that they know they have to come earn it by doing their work to claim you, to earn you, to try and win you. Otherwise, we are held back from doing what we want to do, because if we keep doing our work and keep doing for our goals, aren't we making that gap bigger? Aren't they gonna probably shrink because they're putting us on a pedestal because they feel that energetic gap getting bigger? And then they're not worthy. They instantly go into they're not good enough for us and all of those things. I don't want a man like that. I want a man who knows what he deserves, what he wants, where he's going, and what he wants his woman to be on the same level, like knowing her worth and knowing who she is and standing in all of it, so that you can call each other out with love, no anger, no triggers, no jealousy, none of that crap. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying I love and honor the guys that I can look back that called me out on something that I didn't see. But they did it in a loving, honest communication kind of way. Not triggering an argument, not shutting down, not disappearing, not ghosting, not anything that a fucking teenager would do. All right? I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about my king will be an example for me to want to reach up to, because he has that confidence in where he's going, what he's doing. I never questioned his intentions, just like my husband. I never questioned him and got in jealousy or anything, because he literally would claim boundaries if women ever dishonored me in his presence. If they were trying to hit on him, anything like that, do you know I would come into a room and he would be talking to a woman about how beautiful his wife is and this and that, blah, 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 and all these things. She was trying to hit on him and he flipped the conversation. I want a man that I don't have to say, why were you flirting? Or one that is blaming and anything on me for having lots of guy friends, because they know where my loyalty lies because of their own confidence, their own self-worth, their own knowledge in knowing the connection, instead of their past pains that they haven't worked through, talked through, dealt with, that trigger them. Because if a man was cheated on before in the past and she lied and said, oh, he's just a friend and all those things, do you think that that might be an issue when you have lots of guy friends? You've never cheated in your life. You've never lied in your life. You've never done any of that. And your husbands, the gay husband that might as well know his place, that is what I call husbands. All of my guy friends, they know their place. They know that they are never getting any of this, but they're like a brother to me. And I had to come up with that word after I was instantly single and worked on job sites and all sorts of shit and worked with a bunch of guys. And I've always been open to talk about sex or anything that they want to talk about. So if a man's going to get jealous and triggered and question or go through your phone or any of that, that is not you. If it is you, you need to do your work too, because we are not in high school anymore, people. If you are cheating, talking to other people, all of that, and you are in a relationship, you need to do just as much of work as he does, because that is toxic codependency, triggers, relationships, all of it. I'm talking about him getting jealous when you have done nothing other than been honest, truthful, whatever it was. Because I had one that I was dating and he couldn't believe, because he had been cheated on. He had been lied to. All of those things. And my rule, because I am so freaking loyal, like loyal to a detriment sometimes, that he hacked my phone, but he knows with my gift that if he was hiding something and he didn't tell me, that I would know something was there and eventually it was going to come out anyways. So he hacked into my phone, found nothing, but he had to tell me. So he told me. That broke a boundary for me, because in 17 and a half years of marriage, my husband never hacked my phone. So he was not going to be a first. I broke up in that moment. Kicked him out of my house in that moment. And the difference, he just then opened up the door for all the men that were asking for my attention. Ones that I had dated before, ones that had my heart, all of that. But I was so loyal, I don't ever open that door if I'm dating somebody. Ever. Ever. And they all know it. Anybody that's in my past knows I will not respond to you. If my heart still has anything or any potential is there, you're not getting a response. You're not in husband territory. And so that means you are in a boundary box that I will not talk. I will not address. I will not open Pandora's box to trigger anything that could cause an issue. So when he hacked my phone, he opened up Pandora's box. Any man in my world that has broke I had broke something off with pretty much, they broke it off with me because some of their triggers came up and it hit a boundary in me, which then allows me to open the door to the ones that I wasn't responding to because I refuse to not be loyal. That's my integrity. That's who I am. So who are you? What do you stand for? Are you still talking to exes while you're dating somebody else that still have pieces of your heart? Then you're the one that needs to deal with your own issues. If you're with a man that is triggered all the time and all of that, that is a conversation that you need to have, and he needs to do his own work to figure that out. But any of those hard conversations, I've realized now, come up with a safe word after you have the hard conversation once. If you have a safe word, it's not you having to rethink how to bring it up again. It's not the repetitive conversation. No anger's going to happen. All of that. You're able to say pineapple and he knows exactly what he's doing. And done. And you're able to move on. You could say pineapple 50 times in a day so he's able to know what he's doing all the time. And you don't have to point it out and have the vulnerable conversation every single time. I just challenge you to look at your own habits and patterns in a relationship. Are you a loyal person? Do you deserve that trust? Or are you the one actually triggering it because you haven't created boundaries for past relationships and people? Are you dating somebody because of potential, but they really don't know how to show up in that potential because they actually have to do work to do that? Know your worth, girls. Know what you want, what you're willing to fight for, and what is willing to stay as a friend until they do their work to earn it. Just a thought. Love you, ladies.